6 Canon lenses for dog photography. Hi, I'm Rebecca. You do not need to go and buy 6 lenses if you want to do dog photography. Okay, 1 lens will be fine, but in this video I'm going to talk about more the focal length and what images I can get dog photography wise with all of these lenses, because I do a variety of dog photography from events, dog shows, client shoots, pet business website images, my own dogs. There's a variety of images what I do take, and each lens has a purpose. So the focal length we're working from is 400mm down to 24mm. So your 400mm, the dogs can be way far away, so outdoor dog photography, and you can get some cracking running shots if the light is great with the 400mm. And when it comes down to the 24mm, that is when you are quite close to the dog, or it could be group shots of people or group shots of dogs at events, and you do not have to stand into the next field to get everybody in the shot. You'll be stood quite close up. So that's what range we are working in. So the lenses I have here, we've got 4 prime lenses, which is the 400mm, the 135mm, 85 and the 50. A prime lens is a fixed focal length, so you cannot zoom in or out. You're going to have to move yourself with the prime lens, which is on your camera. And the 70-200 and the 24-70 are zoom lenses, so you can zoom in and out, you can position yourself and zoom in and out at the dog. And we've got the f number, the aperture. We've got 5.6, 2.8, f2, 1.8, 1.4 and 2.8. Now, to keep it simple, the lower the number, the more light you can get into your camera. And for example, if you're in a field and you move to the woods, the light's going to be lower in the woods. So the 70-200, 2.8 will be perfect for that, because once you move into the woods, you can go down the f number to maybe 2.8. You've got more of a chance of getting your shutter speed up high enough to be able to get action shots down the woods still, where you wouldn't be able to do that with the 5.6. I know that for a fact. You just cannot get enough light into that. But in a field with enough light, it's amazing, that lens is. Canon 400mm 5.6 prime lens. The equivalent in a 2.8 is about 12.5 grand. This one cost me £600. £1,000 new, £600 second hand. So it's definitely worth looking at second hand equipment. It's a bit like a telescope. If you're at an event, you can see everything. You can be really nosy and spy on everybody, because you can see that far away with it. So a dog really needs to be out on the moors, in a field, far away. And when it comes to your portrait dog photography, you do need to be a good distance away from the dog. So this is ideal if you've got a nervous dog as well, because you can keep your distance and still get some really amazing portraits. It really is a good lens, which I will use alongside the 70-200mm lens, and it is not as heavy as the 70-200, but it's a long lens, so on your camera you do need to have a steady hand, because it can sort of feel like it's wobbling a bit if you're not careful. So you could stick it on a gimbal head. Great for wildlife as well. So while you're waiting for a dog, if you see a few birds, you can catch a bird as well with this. Get some nice shots. So yeah, a really good lens. Really impressed with that lens. The 70-200 2.8 Canon lens. An amazing lens. Everyone who has this lens knows how good the lens is, and especially at 2.8, because you can get the light in. It is absolutely perfect for action shots for dog photography. Portrait dog photography, I'll use this for client shoots, gun dog events, dog shows, you name it. This one's coming. If I'm going to get it's a job lens, this lens. You cannot go to a job without this lens. It really is well worth the money. You're looking at £2,000 for a new one. You maybe save 500 quid if you get a second hand one. But yeah, that doesn't come without me on a job. And it does the job when you bring it, because it really does create some outstanding results. These two both have what's called a lens coat on. They do not come with the camo covers. It's a real tree lens coat. So if you're into your wildlife photography as well, it's protection for your camera, the lens coat, but also it'll look like your lens is going to blend in, and you can dress yourself up as a tree as well. and go out and do your wildlife photography. But yeah, they do look nice, and you do have to buy them extra. They come in white as well, so you can look like a snowy tree too with one. The 135mm Canon L series f2 lens. I've put this one in because this is one of the main lenses I use for my own dogs, and it is an outstanding lens for creating your bokeh, your dreamy photos, separating your subject from the background, and it's a good focal length, 135mm. Really is a good focal length, and it's a smaller lens to take out with you with your own dog in your camera bag. I've had some lovely images with that. But again, you're looking at about £1,000, but I think you can get one for about 600 quid, which is really quite a bargain, 600 quid for one of those, because it is an amazing lens. It is a portrait lens. You can get some action shots as well, but you're restricted with a prime lens when it comes to action photography and your dog photography, because as with your 70 to 200mm lens, as your dog's coming towards you, you can zoom back out and get more shots, but with your prime lens, it's just going to be a certain point where you're going to get a couple of shots, and then the dog's going to be too close to you for your camera to be able to focus. But it's still an outstanding lens, that 135mm. 85mm prime lens. This one I will use for grooming dogs sometimes. Pet business website images. It's good for the staff images, sort of the headshots with the pets, and create some nice images for websites with this. But another one I will use for my own dogs, and this is for self-portraits with the own dog. Really is good for that. Again, it's small, light, you can fit it into your bag. You separate yourself from the background. You're going to get the bokeh, and 85mm, it's another portrait lens again. I wouldn't do action shots with this one. You can do, but 85mm, you want to be further away, 200, 400mm really for your action shots. But an amazing, for the price, right, 200 quid second hand. It's so underrated, that lens, the 85mm. I mean, if you can find one online, I would snap it up, because the equivalent, an L series 85mm lens, you're looking over £1,000. I don't know the exact price for an L series lens at 1.4. These are 1.8, and it really is a good lens, and it's light as well. You get an L series lens and the heavy. The 85mm, I've actually borrowed one from a friend before. It is a big, thick, massive lens, and it's heavy again. So if you just wanted to go for a walk with your dog and take a few photos, it's lightweight for walking and travelling, but takes some really amazing portraits. The 50mm 1.4, nifty 50. You can photograph anything with a 50mm lens. Really is an amazing lens. Great in low light at 1.4. It's going to let loads of light in. You can get creative with a little 50mm. What you see is what you get, but you can bring down your F number and create some really nice photos. I'll use that for the dog grooming dogs, for the simple fact that this I bought second hand for £180 I think it was. And the equivalent focal length is within there. You've got 50mm within your 24 to 70, but you're looking over £1,000 for that, where 180 quid, if you get a few dog hairs, because the dog grooming rooms and pet business establishments are dusty, aren't they, and full of dog hairs, it's not so bad. And you can be creative with it. You can get all kinds of images with a 50mm lens. Everyone should have a little 50mm prime lens. The equivalent in the L series Canon, again, I think they're about £1,500, and they're an f1.2. And you're really going to struggle at 1.2 to get sharp images, because you can go through a phase where you're wanting everything so blurred and the background so blurred that nothing is actually in focus. So you might go and buy a 1.2, but have to use it on f4 to at least get the dog in focus. You'll still get a blurry background. But yeah, for £180, second hand, it's light, fits in your camera bag, and you can be creative, do some creative dog photography with it. It's really worth looking at the 50mm. The 24 to 70 2.8 Canon lens. This is my studio dog photography lens. You can use that 50mm lens as well in the studio, but I will use this for studio dog photography, and at events it would be for the awards, later on in the day I would not be taking this out when I'm photographing the dogs working. There's not enough reach on the lens. It's not my style of dog photography. All the dog photographers will love the 24mm and they will go wider than that. They will go for 16 to 35 or even wider at 11 to, I think it's 22. As wide as possible, so you're going to get your big blue sky, dog in the middle, you're going to get the surroundings, big tall trees with the dog looking down. Those kind of shots are with the really wide angle. You can do it on a 24 or say wider. You have to go a lot wider. And for me, it's not my style of dog photography. I prefer the 400 end rather than the really wide angle end. So that's something to bear in mind. If that is the style of dog photography you are wanting, you may have to go wider than the 24mm, which is only 24 to 70. Or you can buy a prime lens, 24mm prime lens, but I think you might want to go wider than that. It's up to you what you're wanting to do. That's what I use those lenses for. So you don't need them all, you'll need one. And once you decide what type of dog photography you actually want to do, whether that's the wide angle shots or really close up portraits, action shots, studio dog photography, or if you've got your own creative ideas, you can just grab yourself a really cheap little 50mm and start off that way. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I do have 15 dog photography tips. I'll put the link in the description to the blog post and the video to that. Thanks for watching.